What if I told you that your entire life, every triumph, every struggle, every hidden possibility is nothing more than a mirror of your belief? Look around you. Everything you see, the chair you sit on, the building that shelters you, the city you live in, all of it was once invisible. Once it was just a thought in someone's mind, a spark of imagination, powered by the unshakable belief that what did not exist could, if only they dared to bring it forward. Thomas Edison believed he could light up the world, even as thousands of failed experiments mocked him. Henry Ford believed he could put an automobile in every household when people said the horse was unbeatable. Walt Disney believed in a world of magic before a single brick of Disneyland was ever laid. These men were not different from you. They did not breathe a different kind of air or drink a different kind of water. The difference was this: their belief was so strong it bent reality around it. And here is the truth: you are not shaped by your circumstances. You are shaped by your convictions. You do not rise to the level of your dreams. You fall to the level of what you truly believe about yourself. Belief is not some fragile wish. It is not closing your eyes and hoping. Belief is power. Belief is the architect of destiny. It is the soil in which every seed of greatness either takes root or withers. And whether you rise or remain buried depends on the strength of that soil within you. But here's the danger: belief cuts both ways. If you believe you are small, if you believe the world is against you, if you believe nothing good can happen for you, then your life will obey that script with frightening precision. Your steps will shrink, your voice will dim, and opportunities will pass you by because your belief commanded it. You become what you believe. So I ask you, what story is your belief writing right now? Is it a story of possibility or a story of limits? Is it a script of courage or a script of fear? You see, belief is the master key, but it must be forged in the fire of clarity. Vague belief produces vague results. To say I want to succeed means nothing. Everyone wants to succeed. The question is, what do you believe you are capable of enduring? What do you believe you are worthy of achieving? What do you believe is possible if you gave yourself fully to the fight? Clarity makes belief unstoppable. The sharper the vision, the deeper the conviction. Andrew Carnegie believed in steel when the world was still wrapped in wood and stone. His vision was so clear, his belief so unbreakable, that it reshaped the landscape of nations. And that is where most people falter. They want belief, but they never sharpen it with clarity. They wish, they hope, they daydream, but they never define, never carve the details, never make the vision so vivid that it burns into their spirit. Clarity is where belief stops being a cloud and becomes a sword. But belief is not only clarity, it is discipline. Discipline is belief in action. Every time you wake up early to work on your craft, that is belief. Every time you say no to distraction, that is belief. Every time you endure when it would be easier to quit, that is belief. The problem is, most people think belief is a feeling. They wait to feel confident before they act. But belief is not about feelings. Belief is about decisions. It is about proving to yourself day after day, through action, that you are who you said you would be. Abraham Lincoln failed in business, failed in politics, lost elections, buried loved ones, and yet he stood tall because he believed in something greater than his setbacks. His belief was not a smile or a positive thought. It was a relentless decision to rise every single time he fell. So hear me, if you wait until you feel confident, you will wait forever. You do not build belief by waiting. You build it by moving, by standing in the fire of doubt and acting anyway, by gathering evidence day after day that you are becoming stronger, sharper, more unshakable than you were yesterday. And here's what happens. When you act in belief long enough, the world begins to bend. The opportunities that were once invisible become visible. The people who once ignored you begin to take notice. Doors that seemed bolted shut suddenly open, not because the world changed, but because your belief changed. And in changing, it rewrote the way you see and interact with reality. This is why two people can walk into the same room, face the same challenge, and leave with completely different results. One sees only barriers, the other sees stepping stones. The difference isn't the room, the difference isn't the challenge, the difference is belief. But belief requires one more thing: resilience. Because make no mistake, life will test your belief. It will slam you against the wall of rejection. It will drown you in seasons of scarcity. It will whisper in your ear that you are not enough. The storms will come, but storms are not proof that your belief is wrong. Storms are proof that your belief is real. Every storm is a trial. Every trial is an invitation. And every invitation is asking you, will you keep believing or will you bow to the winds? The Wright brothers faced ridicule for years. Experts called them dreamers, fools, even liars. But their belief in human flight was stronger than public doubt. They built wings out of scraps, tested machines that fell and broke, until one day the world lifted with them. And from that moment, humanity never looked at the sky the same way again. You will face storms. You will face ridicule. But if your belief is stronger than their doubt, you will rise. And here's the beauty. Belief not only changes you, it changes everyone around you. A single unshakable belief can inspire families, communities, even nations. Think of Martin Luther King Jr., a man who believed in freedom so deeply that his words still echo decades later. He did not hold wealth. He did not hold armies, but his belief carried more weight than the bullets and batons that tried to silence him. You do not need to lead a nation to live this truth. Your belief in your craft, in your future, in your worth can lift the people closest to you, because belief is contagious. Confidence spreads, courage awakens courage. And in that ripple, you become more than just a believer. You become a force. Belief must be anchored in vision, because without vision, belief is blind. Vision is the horizon you aim for when the fog is thick, when the night is long, when doubt surrounds you. Vision is not simply what you see with your eyes. It is what you see with your spirit. It is the movie that plays in your mind long before the world has a chance to witness it. Every empire, every invention, every movement began as a vision. Steve Jobs saw in his mind a world where technology was not cold, mechanical, or reserved for the elite. He saw tools of beauty and simplicity in the hands of ordinary people. His vision was so sharp it forced the industry to transform. Vision gave his belief direction, and belief gave his vision power. This is why clarity matters. When your vision is cloudy, your steps are hesitant. But when your vision is sharp, your steps cut through doubt like a blade. You cannot drift your way into greatness. You must see it, name it, breathe it, until it becomes a part of you. But vision alone is not enough. Vision must connect to purpose. Purpose is what fuels you when the vision feels far away. Purpose is the why that keeps the fire burning when the nights are long and the results are slow. Without purpose, even the strongest vision collapses under pressure. Andrew Carnegie's vision was steel, but his purpose was bigger: to build an infrastructure that would connect cities, empower industries, and shape the foundation of modern life. Henry Ford's vision was an automobile, but his purpose was to bring freedom of movement to everyday families. When vision aligns with purpose, belief becomes unstoppable. And here's what many people miss. Purpose is rarely about you alone. The greatest purpose always stretches beyond personal gain. It taps into service, into contribution, into making something better for others. When you fight only for yourself, your strength runs out quickly. But when you fight for something bigger, your strength multiplies. Purpose gives your belief roots, so when the storms arrive, you do not get blown away. But even with vision and purpose, belief demands discipline. Discipline is the bridge between intention and reality. It is the daily proof that your belief is not just an idea, but a lifestyle. Discipline is the alarm clock that rings before sunrise. It is the notebook filled with ideas when others are asleep. It is the repetition, the grind, the patience to lay brick after brick, day after day, while the world remains silent. Think of Edison again. 10,000 failed experiments, 10,000 nights of frustration, 10,000 reasons to quit. But belief, powered by discipline, pushed him forward until the world finally lit up. Discipline is belief wearing boots, walking forward when your feelings beg you to stop. And here is the paradox. Discipline does not restrict your life, it frees it. Discipline is not chains, it is wings. The athlete who disciplines their body gains freedom on the field. The artist who disciplines their craft gains freedom in expression. The entrepreneur who disciplines their habits gains freedom in destiny. Without discipline, belief is just talk. With discipline, belief becomes proof. But life is unpredictable. The plan you wrote today may not survive the storm of tomorrow. That is why belief must be adaptable. Adaptability is not weakness, it is wisdom. It is knowing when to bend so you do not break. It is the courage to pivot without losing your purpose. The greatest companies, the greatest leaders, the greatest dreamers all faced moments where their first plan failed. The Wright brothers built machine after machine that collapsed before they built one that could fly. Ford faced bankruptcy twice before his vision took hold. Walt Disney went broke before his empire stood tall. Adaptability is not betrayal of belief, it is proof of it. Because belief is not in the specific plan, belief is in the outcome. You may change the road, but the destination remains. And when the road changes, gratitude becomes essential. Gratitude is the anchor that steadies you in uncertainty. Gratitude reminds you that even in loss, there is something gained. Even in struggle, there is strength being built. Gratitude is not passive. It is not closing your eyes and pretending life is perfect. Gratitude is active awareness. It is training your eyes to see what is working, even while you repair what is broken. It is thanking the storm for the lesson, while you hold tight to the mast. And here's what many people miss. Purpose is rarely about you alone. The greatest purpose always stretches beyond personal gain. It taps into service, into contribution, into making something better for others. When you fight only for yourself, your strength runs out quickly. But when you fight for something bigger, your strength multiplies. Purpose gives your belief roots, so when the storms arrive, you do not get blown away. But even with vision and purpose, belief demands discipline. Discipline is the bridge between intention and reality. It is the daily proof that your belief is not just an idea, but a lifestyle. Discipline is the alarm clock that rings before sunrise. It is the notebook filled with ideas when others are asleep. It is the repetition, the grind, the patience to lay brick after brick, day after day, while the world remains silent. Think of Edison again. 10,000 failed experiments, 10,000 nights of frustration, 10,000 reasons to quit. But belief, powered by discipline, pushed him forward until the world finally lit up. Discipline is belief wearing boots, walking forward when your feelings beg you to stop. And here is the paradox. Discipline does not restrict your life, it frees it. Discipline is not chains, it is wings. The athlete who disciplines their body gains freedom on the field. The artist who disciplines their craft gains freedom in expression. The entrepreneur who disciplines their habits gains freedom in destiny. Without discipline, belief is just talk. With discipline, belief becomes proof. But life is unpredictable. The plan you wrote today may not survive the storm of tomorrow. That is why belief must be adaptable. Adaptability is not weakness, it is wisdom. It is knowing when to bend so you do not break. It is the courage to pivot without losing your purpose. The greatest companies, the greatest leaders, the greatest dreamers all faced moments where their first plan failed. The Wright brothers built machine after machine that collapsed before they built one that could fly. Ford faced bankruptcy twice before his vision took hold. Walt Disney went broke before his empire stood tall. Adaptability is not betrayal of belief, it is proof of it. Because belief is not in the specific plan, belief is in the outcome. You may change the road, but the destination remains. And when the road changes, gratitude becomes essential. Gratitude is the anchor that steadies you in uncertainty. Gratitude reminds you that even in loss, there is something gained. Even in struggle, there is strength being built. Gratitude is not passive. It is not closing your eyes and pretending life is perfect. Gratitude is active awareness. It is training your eyes to see what is working, even while you repair what is broken. It is thanking the storm for the lesson, while you hold tight to the mast. The most resilient people in history were not the ones who had the easiest lives. They were the ones who found gratitude in the hardest conditions. Prisoners of war, who came home stronger because they gave thanks for every breath. Leaders who turned failures into stepping stones because they were grateful for the chance to learn. Gratitude is belief saying, I trust the process. I may not be there yet, but I am thankful for where I am because it is shaping who I must become. And when gratitude joins hands with resilience, your belief becomes unbreakable. Resilience is not never falling. It is rising every time you do. It is the quiet whisper that says not yet, but soon. It is the steel spine that holds you upright when the world wants you bowed. Lincoln lost election after election before he became one of the most defining leaders in history. Disney was told he lacked imagination before he built worlds of it. Edison was called a fool before he lit the night. Resilience is their common thread. They did not escape hardship. They endured it. They did not avoid criticism. They outlasted it. They did not dodge failure. They turned it into fuel. And here's the truth. Resilience is not built in comfort. Resilience is built in the fire. The more you are tested, the more you are refined. The more storms you endure, the stronger your roots grow. And one day, when the winds howl again, you will not tremble, because you have already faced worse and stood tall. Belief, vision, purpose, discipline, adaptability, gratitude, resilience. These are not separate pieces. They are one continuous stream, one river flowing toward the ocean of your destiny. When aligned, they form a force so powerful it cannot be ignored. But one more thing must be said. Belief requires courage, because no matter how strong your vision, no matter how clear your purpose, no matter how sharp your discipline, there will always be a leap. There will always be a gap between where you are and where you want to be. And in that gap, logic will fail you. Evidence will abandon you. Doubt will scream louder than your faith. In that moment, courage steps in. Courage is belief taking the leap before certainty exists. It is saying yes when the outcome is unknown. It is walking into the dark with nothing but your conviction as a lantern. Every breakthrough in history required that leap. The Wright brothers, stepping onto fragile wings. Jobs, unveiling the iPhone when experts doubted. Carnegie, pouring everything into steel when no one believed. The leap is terrifying, but on the other side of fear lies freedom. On the other side of doubt lies discovery. And the only bridge across is courage. So when your knees shake, when your heart races, when the voice in your head says, "What if I fail?" remember this. Belief was never meant to keep you comfortable. Belief was meant to make you courageous. Courage is the leap, but mastery is the landing. Because belief without skill is fragile. It wavers when the winds rise, but when belief joins hands with mastery, it becomes unshakable. Mastery is the commitment to excellence, the decision that good enough will never be enough. It is the craftsman sanding the same piece of wood until it gleams. It is the musician repeating the same scale 1,000 times until every note bends to their will. It is the entrepreneur refining every detail of a product until the market has no choice but to pay attention. Michelangelo once said the statue already lived within the stone. His job was only to chisel away the excess. That is mastery, the relentless pursuit of what lies hidden inside you, waiting to be revealed. But mastery demands humility. You must accept that in the beginning you will stumble. You will be clumsy, awkward, perhaps even embarrassed. Most people quit in this stage because they confuse weakness with permanence. But weakness is never permanent. It is the raw material from which mastery is forged. The violinist scratching out notes today may become the symphony's leader tomorrow. The entrepreneur fumbling through their first pitch may one day build an empire. The writer crossing out more words than they keep may one day craft sentences that ignite revolutions. The difference is not talent. The difference is belief, expressed through relentless practice. And yet, mastery is not only about practice, it is also about learning. Belief thrives in the soil of knowledge. The mind must be fed, stretched, challenged. Jim Rohn once said, "Formal education will make you a living. Self-education will make you a fortune." And though the world has changed, the principle remains the same. Schools and institutions may open doors, but your hunger to keep learning is what builds kingdoms. Carnegie surrounded himself with thinkers and innovators, absorbing their insights like oxygen. Ford studied mechanics long before his factory lines transformed history. Jobs devoured books on design, psychology, and calligraphy, details that seemed irrelevant until they became the foundation of Apple's aesthetic power. Belief without learning is arrogance. Learning without belief is wasted potential. But when belief fuels your hunger to grow, the combination becomes unstoppable. And here's the truth. Learning does not stop with books or classrooms. Every setback is a lesson. Every mistake is a teacher. Every critic is an unwilling mentor, pointing to where you must sharpen your edge. The problem is most people do not listen. They are so eager to defend themselves that they miss the wisdom hidden inside failure. They are so desperate to be right that they ignore the gift of being wrong. But the masters know better. They bow to feedback. They embrace correction. They do not hide from their flaws. They hunt them down and conquer them, because they know every weakness exposed is an opportunity to grow stronger. And once you commit to mastery and learning, another truth emerges: leadership. Because the moment you rise, others begin to look to you. Whether you ask for it or not, belief makes you an example. Leadership is not about titles, offices, or positions. Leadership is about influence, the ability to move others through the strength of your conviction and the clarity of your actions. Lincoln led a nation through division not because he demanded it. He believed in unity when others demanded separation. His belief became a beacon, and millions followed. Ford did not simply build cars. He built a movement around efficiency and accessibility. Jobs did not simply sell products. He led people into a new way of thinking about technology. Leadership is the ripple effect of belief. And here is the responsibility. When you lead, your belief is no longer just yours. It carries the weight of others who place their trust in you. That is why leadership demands integrity, because people will not follow you for long if your actions betray your words. They may admire your talent, they may envy your success, but true loyalty comes only when your belief aligns with your behavior. Leadership also demands service. True leaders do not stand above others. They lift others. They believe not only in their own potential, but in the potential of those around them. They spark confidence in the discouraged, awaken strength in the timid, and call forth greatness from the overlooked. That is the highest form of belief. To look into another human being, see what they cannot yet see in themselves, and breathe life into it until it becomes real. And when you lead with belief, something extraordinary happens. You create legacy. Legacy is belief made immortal. It is the echo of your convictions long after your voice has gone silent. Edison's light still burns in the lamps of the world. Carnegie's steel still holds up the skyscrapers of cities. Disney's imagination still sparks wonder in children who never knew his name. They are gone, but their belief remains. That is the power of legacy. But legacy is not only built by those whose names fill history books. Legacy is built every day by parents who believe in their children, by teachers who believe in their students, by leaders who believe in their teams. Your belief does not need a stage to change lives. Sometimes the greatest legacy is created in silence, in the unseen encouragement that shifts the course of another person's destiny. This is why you cannot afford to doubt yourself. Because your belief is not just about you. It is about the countless lives it will touch, the ripples it will create, the futures it will alter. So understand this: when you strengthen your belief, you are not only shaping your life, you are shaping history. And yet belief must continue to evolve, because the higher you climb, the greater the temptation to stop growing, to settle, to say, "I have arrived." But belief that rests becomes belief that rusts. The moment you stop stretching, you start shrinking. The moment you stop learning, you start decaying. The moment you stop believing bigger, your vision begins to die. Greatness is not a single mountain you climb once. It is a range of peaks, each higher than the last. The summit you celebrate today becomes the valley floor tomorrow, because beyond it lies another peak, waiting to test your endurance. That is why you must keep moving, keep expanding, keep sharpening, because belief is not a destination, it is a journey, a lifelong pursuit. And the final test of belief is this: can you hold it not only in the sunshine but in the shadows? Can you carry it not only in seasons of abundance, but in seasons of scarcity? Can you keep it burning not only when the crowd applauds, but when you walk alone? That is where true greatness is proven, not in the cheers but in the silence, not in the victories but in the battles no one sees. And when you pass that test, belief is no longer just something you hold, it becomes who you are. Belief is who you are, not the clothes you wear, not the job you hold, not the trophies on your shelf or the titles beside your name. All of those can be taken away. But belief, when it is forged into your very character, cannot be stolen, cannot be broken, cannot be erased. And yet, belief demands its greatest companion, persistence. Because no matter how strong your vision, how deep your purpose, how sharp your discipline, without persistence, the journey ends too soon. Persistence is the heartbeat of belief. It is the rhythm that keeps you moving when every step feels heavy. It is the refusal to surrender when progress is invisible. It is the quiet vow that says, I will not stop, not today, not tomorrow, not ever. The Great Wall of China did not rise in a single season. Brick by brick, stone by stone, year after year, persistence turned an idea into an empire's defense. The same is true for every dream worth building. It is never the single act that creates greatness, but the countless repetitions stacked across time that finally shape it. Too many people quit too early. They mistake delay for denial. They confuse silence for rejection. They forget that oak trees take decades to rise, but weeds sprout overnight. Do not envy the weed. Build yourself like the oak, because persistence transforms time into your ally. Every day you persist, you add another brick to your foundation. Every time you refuse to quit, you gather momentum. And eventually the walls that seemed impossible to climb crumble beneath the weight of your consistency. But persistence is not just endurance, it is intelligent endurance. It is not running blindly into the same wall. It is learning, adapting, adjusting, but never abandoning the mission. Persistence is not stubbornness, it is commitment with wisdom. And when belief matures into persistence, destiny begins to unfold. Destiny is not chance. Destiny is not luck. Destiny is the harvest of belief planted in persistence. Destiny is the future you build, not the future you wait for. Look back at the giants of history. None of them stumbled into greatness. Edison did not luck into the light bulb. Ford did not stumble onto the assembly line. Disney did not randomly discover magic. Each of them carved destiny with belief that endured ridicule, failure, and endless obstacles. Your destiny is the same. It will not arrive at your door uninvited. You must invite it through action, through faith, through the daily grind of showing up when others walk away. And when destiny comes, it will not come as a surprise. It will come as a reward. A mirror reflecting the truth you lived every single day. You become what you believe. So ask yourself, not tomorrow, not next year, but right now, what do you truly believe? Not what do you say you believe, not what do you wish you believed. What do you actually believe about yourself? About your potential, about your future, because your life will answer that question, whether you do or not. If you believe you are average, your actions will reflect it. If you believe you are unworthy, your choices will prove it. If you believe you cannot, you will not. But if you believe you are capable, your actions will rise. If you believe you are worthy, your choices will elevate. If you believe you can, you will. That is not empty poetry. That is reality. Life does not give you what you want. Life gives you what you truly believe. So sharpen your vision, anchor your purpose, discipline your actions, adapt when the winds shift, stay grateful in every season, build resilience in every storm, pursue mastery with humility, keep learning like your future depends on it, because it does. Lead with integrity, serve with courage, persist with patience, and above all, believe. Believe so strongly that your conviction rewrites your story. Believe so deeply that your faith outlasts your fear. Believe so boldly that your life becomes the proof that belief is not just an idea, it is the greatest force a human being can possess. Because the world will try to shape you, it will try to convince you that you are small, replaceable, powerless. But the truth is this, you are always becoming the image of your belief. So stand tall, plant your feet, lift your head, and declare it not with words alone, but with the way you live. I become what I believe. And let that belief carve your future, ignite your destiny, and leave behind a legacy that whispers for generations, this was a life lived with conviction, this was a life shaped by belief. Because at the end of it all, when the lights fade and the noise falls silent, you will not be remembered for what you wished, you will not be remembered for what you intended, you will be remembered for what you believed, and for the life you built because of it. So believe with all you have. Believe until the impossible bends. Believe until the unseen becomes visible. Believe until the life you dream of stands before you, undeniable and real, because you do not just live your belief, you become it.